Good morning, everyone. It's January 22nd, 2021. I'm Eric. This isn't going to be one of my typical videos about, at least not all about, politics and our current situation. In this video, I'm going to discuss with you a few things. And some of you might not like what I say. Some of you may have experienced exactly what I'm going to talk about to begin with. Before I do, my wife and I, well, more my wife, she wanted to get this device. It's called the Ionic Foot Spa. Supposedly, it pulls the toxins from your body, right? And I've used it twice myself. And I'm not trying to sell this to you, okay? I just want you to know what the outcome was. Apparently, it works rather well because the two times I've used it, the water turned into a dreadful sludge of disgusting. It was just disgusting. It was so fucking disgusting what came out of my body. And that should really be testament to what damage we do to ourselves by eating the commercially available foods from the supermarket, smoking cigarettes and breathing in the toxic air that we have now. The first time I did it, the water was extremely dark. Second time I did it, it was slightly less sludgy and dark, but it looks like I have a long way to go before I pull all these toxins out of my body. And it's no wonder I wake up some mornings feeling very, very shitty. And I'm wondering how many of you out there wake up feeling shitty too. But I just thought I would throw that out there. If any of you wake up every morning feeling shitty, well, that might be the reason. Now, what I was going to talk to you about is the last 6 years. I've conducted a couple of experiments, one of them being a social experiment. As many of you know, I was busted for selling weed, okay? And that was part of the experiment. I had a longtime friend, right? His name was James. Well, James was a career criminal, probably still is. And I'm not talking about the kind of criminal I was. I didn't really cause harm to people. He invaded other people's homes and stole from them. Well, James got caught. He got busted for doing this. And his way out was by ratting me out. Now, here's the premise of the experiment that I took on. I'm a person who believes in tit-for-tat relationships, meaning if you do something for me, obligated, morally obligated, to return that favor, right? If you do me wrong, I'm just as morally obligated to return the favor. And it's been 10 people. 10 people, different lifestyles, different ages, all the way up to the elderly. Okay? Well, my wife and I, we've helped quite a few people, ranging in age, sex, or gender. And the outcome has always been the same, whether they held conservative values or not so conservative values. And I really, really urge each and every one of you to evaluate the relationships that you currently have. Because 10 for 10, we extended, in some cases, we extended our home, our family to the individuals. And other cases, we did good deeds for individuals. And the most recent was an elderly lady who lives next door. Now, it seems to me that the morals of our people in this country have been seriously fucking warped. You'll get conservatives whining about individuals on welfare. But should we not feed the hungry? Should we not clothe the naked? Should we not aid the orphan? I think we should. I'm not sure that the way it's being done currently is the best way to do it. However, we should be doing these things as individuals. We should be helping our fellow man. We get Christians talking about how they're going to go to heaven, right? Heaven. Did you know that Nibiru was the first notion of heaven? Did you know that? Not a place I care to go. But we got these people, both Christians, Muslims, talking about going to heaven. And the thing about that is almost none of these people have the moral fortitude that our supposed God demanded of us. He demanded that we clothe the naked, feed the hungry, aid the orphan, and so on. And we have utterly failed in this. Not all of us, but most of us. They will cast a stone at the prostitute, even though Jesus kept company with a prostitute. We have become so morally warped that we can't see the elephant before us. We cannot see the reality before us. So in this experiment, we helped each of these people to a very significant degree, including our most recent. And this is the one I will focus on because it's the most recent. This woman is 74 years old. she's had a rather rough life, you can tell. She has a 20-year-old grandson living with her who's borderline abusive, if not outright abusive. Okay? So I go out of my way to befriend this woman. I go out of my way to help this woman. And she begins to complain about her abusive grandson, as if she wanted me to do something about it. And unfortunately, we live in a society that believes one should utilize the state to do these things. And if I were to do anything about it, I would be put in prison. Right? So there was nothing I could do. At least not the way she would have liked me to do it. And I finally told her, look, this is, if you're not willing to put him out, if you're not willing to get a restraining order on him, if you're not willing to do all those things, then he can't be that bad, and I'd just as soon not know, because it makes me feel some kind of way knowing that this woman is routinely threatened by her grandson. And as soon as that happened, she turned on me. This was after providing numerous meals to both her and her grandson. This was after doing all many good deeds for this lady. My conclusion is this: after helping 10 people in various ways, each and every time, they turned on us. Each and every time. Which has really made me a very cynical person. Makes me not want to leave my house. Makes me not want to talk to others. Makes me not have any compassion for people. And this is wrong. This is not the way I'm supposed to feel, according to what we're told God said, right? But on the practical level, I'm correct. People, most of them anyway, 10 out of 10, it seems now, are not worth your effort. Now, as I said, I am the kind of person that if you do me a favor or do something for me, even if I don't ask you, it is my obligation to do to you or for you the same way you've done for me. I wasn't raised like that. My dad's a backstabbing, conniving, and just to give you an idea, he worked for Halliburton for quite some time as a quality control person at these FEMA camps. So that's how I know that they actually exist, because my dad actually went into these places and made sure they were built the way they were supposed to be built. This sense of morality is given to me by myself. Nobody instilled it in me, as I had nobody. So, the moral of the story is this: be very careful of who you associate with, because most people are willing to throw you under the bus, even if they get nothing out of it, even if they're threatened a little bit by, let's say, a government agent, they will throw you under the bus. And I know I sound very cynical, but this is my experience. And it's not just the 10 people that I'm talking about. This extends throughout my entire life. It's been this way. There are really no such thing as true friends anymore. And this is one of the reasons why our nation is falling. Nobody can rely on each other. Nobody has each other's back. Yes, some people say, but what they do is contrary, almost always, to what they say. Another experiment I recently embarked on was a thought experiment. My wife and I were talking about curses, and because we're into paranormal, that kind of stuff. I have a lot of interests, so I have a very wide range of interests. Okay, I'm a person who likes science. I'm a person that likes mechanics. I'm a person that likes just all kinds of things. And my wife said that she did not believe in curses, right? That they couldn't work. So I said, okay, well, let's try that out then. And I didn't use any complicated ritual. I just simply told her, I put upon you the curse of Butterfingers. I'm serious. Any one of you care to know what happened, or think you know what happened after that? Well, I'll tell you. Everything she touched for the next week, she dropped, spilled, tripped over, you name it. She had a rather terrible week, and then she came back to me and said, okay, well, since you were able to put this curse upon me, can you lift it? And I did. I lifted it, and lo and behold, no more Butterfingers. Now, this lady that I was talking about, a couple days before, and so we decided to push this thought experiment a little further. And I simply said out loud, I give to that abusive grandson the curse of 1,000 misfortunes. A day later, he was T-boned. They're going to lose everything. And this time, I'm not going to lift it. You don't believe me, that's fine. Maybe you can try it for yourself, and then you'll find out. Now, it's not that some magical supernatural thing occurred. I just put it out there. I directed my energy, my mental energy, to that, and made it happen. That shows you how powerful your mind really is. It is powerful. And since then, many bad things have happened to this person and their household. lady fell down, hurt herself, can barely walk now. You might ask, do I feel guilty for this? And the answer to that is no, I don't. I don't feel guilty, and I will not rescind this curse, as it were. Why do I tell you this? To demonstrate to you just how powerful the human mind really can be. Just think of the potential each and every one of us has within us. I'm just a nobody. I'm nothing. I'm a dot in the cosmos. I'm less than a dot in the cosmos. And yet somehow my thoughts have had direct impact now on 2 people. Actually 3, if you want to include the old lady. My wife didn't believe me. She didn't believe that it can be done. But she found out the hard way. So if the mind can work on things like that, you have to ask yourself, what else would it work on? Can you heal people? This is something I have yet to try, but I believe if I can cause misfortune and butterfingers, then probably the human mind can heal others. Just a thought. Just a thought. So, now we'll get into the Trump-tard and libtard topic. Because it's really related to what I said at the beginning about the decline in our morality. And these people, they believe they're fighting for righteous causes on both sides. They believe this wholeheartedly. The libtards, and by the way, there's a reason I call them Trump-tards and libtards. And it's because they are so blinded and by their ideologies that they can't see the reality right before them. And what is that reality? That reality is this. Donald Trump straight up shit on his supporters. Now, Joe Biden is straight up shitting on his supporters. There is no real difference in the ideologies. Both ideologies are authoritarian. Both ideologies want to hinder the human spirit, the human mind. Albeit in different ways, somewhat, but still, the outcome is basically the same. I'll give you an example here. Look at this person's channel name. Legally Armed America. Now, I've never looked at one of their videos. Whoops. I do apologize for that. It was not intentional. But we'll leave it here. Legally Armed America. And as you can see in the description box here, the destruction of the Second Amendment will be complete if this monstrosity of a bill is ever passed. And it says email your congressman, email your senator, so on. Now, how many petitions, emails, votes, and so on have to be done before these people understand these are fruitless efforts? It's like planting a tree in your yard and not getting any walnuts or apples or oranges, whatever the tree happens to be. How many trees have to be planted before these people understand that their senator and their congressman and their president and their Supreme Court and their governors and their city councils and so on and so forth do not give a fuck what you think? They're going to do what they're going to do in the first anyway. Now it says legally armed America. And then it talks about the Second Amendment, which means this individual, again, I've never watched one of their videos. I just happened to notice the channel name. Which means this individual is a person who believes in the Constitution, but at the same time does not believe in the Constitution. Because according to that document, there are no conditions on the arming of the people. It says shall not be infringed. But somehow, legally, comes into the play for this individual. And this is an example of how people are brainwashed by their ideologies. And this is an example of how compromise has utterly fucking destroyed this country. Just like compromise killed Rome. I did a video a long time ago called Compromise Killed Rome, and I outlined exactly how compromise did that. See, I will not compromise. I do not compromise. If you do for me, I do for you. If you are naked, I will clothe you. If you are hungry, I will feed you. If you are without roof, I will do something for you to give you a roof. How many of you can say the same thing? How many of you are actually as righteous as you believe you are? I don't believe I'm righteous at all. I just believe that I'm trying to do the right thing. And in that, I cannot compromise. Because compromise is destruction. And I'm not talking about some petty business deal here. I'm talking about your root person, your being. When you compromise that, you lose part of yourself. And then you begin to experience certain issues, like cognitive dissonance, like Stockholm Syndrome, like depression, like the feelings of worthlessness. And that's because you've given up part of yourself in the name of compromise. I'm not talking about the petty compromise of what to have for dinner, okay? I'm not talking about that type of compromise. And in this country, we have compromised away our freedom. We have compromised away our human rights. We have compromised away everything that supposedly made this country worth living in, worth coming to. I am seriously at odds with myself right now because I want so badly to be able to walk away from this place and cannot. I feel guilty for bringing my children into this world. And I mean that. I feel gut-wrenching guilt for it. And I love my children. There's not anything I wouldn't do for them. And I feel so guilty for bringing them into this world. It's almost unbearable. What makes me different than most other channels is I will show you exactly who I am as a person. I will be honest with you about my defects. I will not hide anything from you. Let's see, how long has this gone on now? 32 minutes. Okay, I'll give it another 15 minutes here. I don't want to keep you all too long. Let me show you something right quick. Alright. So, after 2 weeks of sleeping on cold marble, Congress boots National Guard to local parking garages. You know, if you were one of my soldiers, you would never be treated with such disdain. It should be evident to these individuals in these parking garages, sleeping on that hard, cold marble floor, just exactly what they really think of you. It should be evident by the numerous homeless veterans out there. Exactly government thinks of you. Is that any type of gratitude? Is that any way to treat individuals who defended this government and the ruling class? The same with the police. That's what their job is. Their job isn't to protect the people of this country. It may have been at one time. Their job is to protect the very same people who will turn right around and splatter their diarrhea all over them. If you were one of my soldiers, you would never be treated in such a way. My channel name is Cut and Dry. Kill the state, live free. Because if you remove the state from the equation, freedom is exactly what you will get. I'll talk to you all later.